Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Shordie. Welcome back to my channel, okay? Hi, nice to meet you. If you don't know, now you know. It's me, Shordie. I am new to this YouTube thing. I'm new to being a social media content creator. But I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to meet my big mamas, my little mamas, my big papas, and my little papas. And so, my channel is gonna be basically covers and story times, and as I know it's a weird mixture, but I love music and I've been through a lot, so I just wanted to bring y'all with me on my little journey, on my healing journey. But yeah, over here, what we do is we heal over here, baby. There ain't no ands if buts, so maybe we is healing what I go through and whatever you're going through. Come to our safe space here because I really am big mama like. And I don't mean it in that way. I mean, like, I am really mama bear. Like, to everyone in my family, to everyone in my life, they know that I am mama. Like, I am Mama T. Okay? Mama T. Alright, y'all. Getting back to that, today's story time is going to be about the time that I lost my baby. And Mother's Day is coming up. And sometimes miscarriage moms get excluded from these type of things, these type of events. But I'm here to let you know that y'all not excluding me from this one. I am here and I'm here to stay. For the miscarriage angel mamas, what's up? Welcome. We still mamas. We just angel mamas. So I'm just gonna let y'all know about the time that I did lose my baby. A little like recap, or a little like, yeah. I did end up, we were trying to have a baby, and I did take a pregnancy test because he bought me one because he said I was just too emotional, like overly emotional, because I'm a really emotional person. But this one took the cake. I was yelling at everything, crying and everything, so he was like, all right, I think you're pregnant. And I was like, you think? And so I ended up taking a pregnancy test at Brahms, out of all places. Who the hell take? If you don't know, Brahms is like an ice cream slash like food place in Texas. And so so I ended up taking it, and then it had the negative, but it also had a faint line. So I was like, so am I pregnant? Am I not pregnant? It was the one with the 2 lines. And so like 1 line meant like you're not pregnant, and then 2, you know, you're pregnant. If you don't know, now you know. And so mine had 1 line and then 1 faint line, but it was so faint. And I had told my ex-fiance at the time, I was like, dude, I think there's a faint line. And he was like, no, you're just trying to see things that aren't really there. Like you're forcing it. And I was like, maybe you're right. Maybe I am trying to see things that aren't actually there. And so I had, you know, let it go. I was like, all right, fine, cool, whatever. But like I had been drinking ketchup. Like I'm talking about drinking ketchup, eating ketchup. I had to have ketchup with literally everything. Like I'm not talking about like, oh, a little packet. No, I'm talking about the whole damn bottle. Like I would go to like bottles of ketchup a week. So I was like, dude, there's something wrong. Like I've never really liked ketchup like that. Now I'm just drinking it. So fast forward, you know, as time moved on, I ended up going to work. So I used to work at Denny's, and if you've ever worked at Denny's, I'm sorry, because that was the most traumatic experience as a server in my entire life. And not only was I the server, I was the cook and I was the host if no one showed up the overnight shift. And so one time I had worked Sunday morning shift because they needed help. So I was like, all right, cool, like I'll work a Sunday morning shift. And so I would argue with this lady there, and we'll call her Miss G. Shout out Miss G, I hate you. And so she had made sure that the host that day put me in the corner, like where I would have like minimal room and minimal customers. So that was my section. And God is good because I actually ended up getting a lot of people that day. But it was large parties, large families. Mind you, it's Sunday morning for breakfast time. And if you've ever been a server at Denny's working a Sunday morning at breakfast time, oh Lord, like you got, okay, I was under some pressure. It was a lot of people, a lot of families, and they were eating a lot. And so I would have to remember all these things, bring them all out, you know, like, but I kept on my toes. And that was so stressful. So as I'm arguing with this lady and trying to get all these tables together, I'm like having the worst cramps of my entire life. And turns out these cramps were actually contractions. And so they first started like towards the end of my shift, thankfully. And I was like, ooh, what is this pain? Oh my god. And so I was like, okay, maybe my cycle started. You know, I have PCOS, so I do, you know, PCOS is a hormonal imbalance. So my period and my cycle, they're always late, or you know, they last forever. You know, just it's more painful than your regular cycle. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe finally, you know, my cycle came. And so like I felt like I had peed myself while I'm at work, and I'm like, oh my god, like my, you know, my cycle just started. So I ran to the bathroom, I was bleeding, and I was like, ay Dios. So I had to, you know, luckily I always keep stuff in my bag when it comes to, you know, that. So I had to clean myself up, did what I had to do, and came back out, finished my shift off. And but the pain was just so excruciating. Like it kept, like, it was like levels, like tears to it. Like it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, why is this so painful? And so I had called my ex-fiance at the time, and I was like, hey dude, like I'm having like these really bad pains, I think I just started my cycle, whatever. And then he was like, all right, cool, like do you want to go to the mall? And I was like, yeah, let's go to the mall. After I told you that I'm in excruciating pain, let's go to the mall. So we ended up going to the mall right after work, and I had made some pretty good money that day, which was really good. And so we ended up going to the mall, and we're walking around, and I start getting these pains again, like in my lower back and like my ovary area. And I was like, dang, this cycle really whooping my booty. So at one point we were walking towards box lunch, and this isn't a huge mall, but it's big enough, you know, like spacious, you know, like where you could walk a lot. So I was like, dang. So we ended up going to box lunch, which is one of my favorite stores. And that's when I got like my first real contraction. And I was like, oh, oh, like, you know, like I was like, damn, like what is going on? Like what is passing? Like I thought it was, you know, clots, you know. So I was like, damn, it feels like I'm giving birth. But it was a foreshadow, because I ended up walking to PacSun, and that's when I, like, the contraction, like, just boom, 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 like, back to back. And I was like, ooh. So, like, at this point, it got so bad that I had to, like, literally kneel down. Like, not kneel down, but squat. I was squatting down because I couldn't stand no more. Like, I was like, damn, I can't even stand. And I was holding on to one of the tables, like, just, like this. And I was, like, I had my head down. I was, like, trying not to cry, because it was just the most painful thing in my life. And so, like, I had felt like I felt like I was just peeing, like just constantly peeing. And I was like, damn, like what's going on? So like I finally ended up getting up from PacSun, because even the PacSun worker was like, dude, is she okay? And I looked at him and I was like, you know, my ex-fiance was like, oh, I guess. And he was like, come on, let's go to the bathroom, whatever. So we ended up going to the bathroom, which was a lengthy walk. I'm having contractions walking to the damn bathroom. And so I finally end up going to the bathroom, and I go to the bathroom by myself, and I'm going to the bathroom, and that's when like the worst pains like just ever. I mean, I was holding on to, have you ever seen white chicks where she's like holding on to the thing like this? She's like that was literally me. And I was like, damn, I feel like I got a boo-boo. But like I didn't have the boo-boo. Apparently I was giving birth in the bathroom. And so, you know, it finally passed through, and it you know, usually if you have a lot of blood clots, then you know what that feels like. It's like bloop, bloop. And so like this one didn't feel like a bloop, bloop. It felt like a boop. So I was like, damn, what the hell? So it was like I knew what had happened, but I didn't want to admit that I just low-key gave birth. And so I ended up calling my mom like while I'm on the toilet. But I like got up real quickly, and I took a picture of it, cause like I looked in, and it was like a sack, and I was like, that's not a blood clot. That's not what that is. That's not what that is. What the hell is that? So I ended up calling my mom and my sister on three-way, and my sister, like, she's really smart. You know, she knows all the medical stuff, so I knew to call my sister and my mom, and the phone call went silent once I told them what it looked like, everything, and I didn't really know. And so my mom, she ended up saying, you need to go to the hospital. So like I said, my mom literally got on the phone with my sister, and they both went silent and were like, you have to go to the hospital, like right now, like no joke, no tamale, like you gotta go. And I was like, oh, okay. So right when I went to go to the toilet and like pick it up, the toilet flushed. It was an automatic toilet, and because I was such in shock, and I knew what it was, but I was just so like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? Like, what just happened? You know? I didn't even get a chance to hold it, hold him, and I was just like, what? Like, what? And because of what I was going through in that time in my life, like the person that I was with, it was not a good relationship. We were always arguing. It was domestic violence. It was just, just so much stress on me because I believe at the time I was the only one working, and it was just so much. And we had just gotten into an apartment. And I thought life was gonna go good. Like, I thought everything was great and gravy and everything, and now here I go losing a baby that I didn't even really know that was growing in me, and that to this day destroys me. Like, that I didn't know, and I could have taken better care of myself, and did the things that I had to do in order to be a better mother, to take care of my baby. But because I didn't take the precautions and things like that, or go with my gut instinct, like, okay, sorry, they're loud, but go with my gut instinct and be like, okay, I do see like a little faint line, but it was just so faint. If you ever took a pregnancy test and you see like the faint line, like it looks like you're actually like seeing things, that's what I'm talking about. And so I ended up telling my ex-fiance. I came out the bathroom, and I didn't want to tell him at the time like what exactly happened, because I just want to verify that that's what happened. And so I'm still in shock, and I'm just like I just disassociated basically, and I was like, there is no way that this just happened. Like, there's just absolutely no way in hell that this just happened. So we ended up going to the emergency room, which is luckily right across the freeway. So we ended up going there, and it's just like really fancy, rich, because we were in a nice area. So like you had to have insurance or pay out of pocket, which I did not have insurance, and I wasn't about to pay like $3,000 out of pocket, because I didn't even have $3,000 out of pocket. But I went over there and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, this just came out of me, like I don't know what it is, like. And she looked at me, like her mouth dropped. Like, I'll never forget it. It was just the sweetest lady, nurse, like in the front. And my fiance didn't like, he was just like, well, I don't really know what we're here for. So I showed the lady. She ended up was like, oh my gosh, like, she told me like, okay, you have to have insurance, but like, da-da-da. And I was like, I don't have it. Like, I just want to know what's going on, what it is. I just want to verify. And so she's like, okay. So she was like, can I see your phone? She went back and showed, like, I guess the other nurse, and they see me like right away. And I was sitting there, and I showed the lady. She's like, can you explain to me what happened? And like, I just explained to you guys what just happened. I explained to her, and she was like her face, just like her happy face just went, like. And I was like, so what's going on? And she was like, I'm so sorry, miss, my last name. And she was like, you just had a miscarriage. Have you ever had a miscarriage before? Like, are you feeling okay? Are you bleeding? Like, da-da-da-da. And when she said, like, I just had a miscarriage, like, I didn't hear anything else that she was saying. Nothing. The whole room went, like, silent. My whole world was just like, when you see in those movies, it's all dramatic. Like, that's literally how I felt. Like, I was like, this is not real. Like, can I wake up now? Like, the only thing I've ever wanted to be in my life is to be a mom. And I just lost my chance of being a mom. And I felt like I failed not only me, but I failed my child, and I failed my partner. And I called my job. My job was the first thing that I did when I was sitting on the table after she explained everything to me. And she was like, I'm gonna give you a moment. You can leave the room when you're ready. Take your time, process it. It looks like you're still in shock. Da-da-da. And then I was just like, wow. Like, I called my job, and I was like, hey, I just had a miscarriage. I'm not gonna be able to go to work tomorrow, maybe the day after. And my boss was like, what the hell, Julie? Like, no, you're not coming to work at all. Like, no. And I was like, no. I'm gonna come to work. Like, I got bills to pay. I just can't come to work tomorrow. And it was just such like a, it was just coming out of my mouth. Like, it was just like on autopilot. Like, I was like, no, I'm coming to work. And I was like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. And I hung up. Then I called my best friend. And I was like, hey, I just lost the baby. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then so she started crying. And then I still wasn't crying. I was just in so much shock. I was not crying. I was just sitting there and I was just like, why is everyone crying and I'm not crying? So I ended up like getting up off the thing, off the chair, the table that you sit on in the doctor's office, and I went out and the lady was like, let us know if you need anything else, or make sure you go to the emergency room to get the other stuff taken out. You're gonna be bleeding for a long time, but if you're bleeding after this amount of time, then you need to go back and get it checked so you don't get an infection. So it was like all these procedures that I had to have done because I lost a baby. And so I went up to my ex-fiance and I was like, hey, and I'm still in shock, mind you. I was like, hey, we actually just lost a baby. We lost our kid. And he didn't say anything to me. He didn't give me a hug. He didn't say, oh, baby, I'm sorry. He didn't say nothing. Dude walked out of the emergency room and kept walking. Just kept walking to QT. And mind you, I'm the one that just had to do with all these things. And I'm still in shock. But as my partner, what? I was just like, dude, like, not a hug, not nothing. Like, I need you right now. Like, I need you as a man, as the father that, just is taking this loss with me. Like, I need you. And he was not there. He was not there for me at all. So we ended up going to QT. If you don't know what QT is, it's actually a gas station. And I love QT. You can get everything from there. But that's beside the point. So we ended up going there. We ended up calling our Uber Lyft to go back to our apartment, which his dad still stayed there because it was his dad's apartment. We just took over the lease. And I remember going in there, like, the whole Uber ride was just so silent. Like, he didn't even open the door for me, nothing. I just got in there and I was just like, I felt so bad. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. These things happen, especially when you have PCOS, especially when you're under a lot of stress, especially when you're not taking care of your health. These things happen. And I was just so guilty. He made me feel so bad. And so just him not talking, saying anything, I just felt like so terrible. Like, I was like, God, I'm a terrible person. I'm a horrible person. Like, I didn't have any words for myself. Normally I'm such an encouraging person. I had no words to pick myself back up. I didn't even want to talk to God. So we ended up going back to the apartment. He gets out the Uber first, and I'm still trying to get out because I'm still in pain. It's not like this pain just magically went away. So I'm like walking, I'm like holding my back, and I'm like, damn. So I ended up going to the apartment, and this dude sits in the middle of the apartment and starts screaming on the top of his lungs. And mind you, I'm the one who just lost the baby. And I get being in shock and I get in all those things, but for you not to be there for me as your partner, that was crazy. As your fiance, that was crazy work. And so his dad comes running out of his room and he's like, what happened? He's holding his son and he's just like screaming. Like, I'm just like hysterical. I was like, dude, they're gonna call the cops. Like, that's the last thing I need right now is for the cops to be here and for me to explain to another person that I just lost the baby and, like, all these things. And so the dad's just holding him, and then, I told him, I was like, I was still sitting there. No one is consoling me. I'm going through this by myself, and he's hugging his son when I'm the one that just lost the baby. Let me calm down. And so he's like, what happened? And I was like, I just had a miscarriage. And I was just sitting there. And you would think that I was a heartless human being for the way that I said it. Because I was like, oh, yeah, I just lost the baby. But I was still in so much shock. So as they're holding him, as the dad is holding him, and I'm over here just by myself alone, I was like, dang. Okay, and like I was saying, like, the dad is just, like, holding him. Just, like, as he's still screaming, like, for days and crying and all this other shit. And I was just, like, I was just sitting there because no one was consoling me. No one said like anything to me. Then he called his mom, told his mom. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I didn't have anyone to call. I didn't know who to call. Ghostbusters? Bitch, I don't know. So I didn't call anybody. The only people I called was my job, my best friend, and my mom and my sister. And even then, it felt like no one could console me for what I was feeling right now because I felt so many emotions. I was still in pain. I felt alone. I didn't have my partner. And honestly, he did not talk to me. Like, he was just moping around while I still had to go to work and I still had to do these things. I still had to be a human. You know, I still had to be the provider. I still had to do just all these things after losing the baby. And I still was just in shock for the longest time. Like, it just didn't hit me. Like, I was just like, oh, I'm fine. Like, it's cool, it's whatever. You know, but I knew it was hurting me. But it was like I was shielding myself from what I actually wanted to do, which was cry and scream and punch and be angry at everybody. And be angry at everybody. And it took me like 2 weeks, maybe a month to actually start feeling like, okay, I just took the biggest loss. And it's my biggest dream to be a mom. And I still have my stepdaughter at the time, so like, but that's not my baby. Like, I didn't give birth to that baby. But I loved her, most definitely loved her, gave her my all, everything, you know. And till this day, I still do love her. Honestly, me and that person are no longer together, you know. That's a story time for a different time. But yeah, I went through so many emotions after that. Just so many emotions, and I honestly was so scared to get pregnant again. And I haven't been pregnant since. Like, I haven't been pregnant since. And the day that I am and I finally get to conceive again, I am going to, I don't care if it's the faintest line. I don't care if I feel like I'm seeing things that aren't really there. I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to the hospital. And I'm going to, you know, have them verify that I am pregnant. And so, like I said, that's how I lost my baby. So if you have any similar stories or any similar situations or experience anything like that, just know that there's another person here on this platform that is going through it with you, have went through it with you, and you're not alone. And every time Mother's Day comes around or my baby's birthday comes around, because this year he would have been 3 years old, just know that you're still a mom and no one can take that away from you. I don't care if a little tiny baby blood clot came out. Guess what? You're still a mom. You still carried. You still conceived. You're still a mom. So don't let anyone, social media, anybody, take the fact that you're still a mother away from you. Because a lot of people will try to do that. A lot of people are not going to know your pain. But the people that are like me, who know your pain and understand what you've been through and just like fully understand that experience and that loss, and having to go through life with seeing other people with babies and you don't get to push yours in a stroller, you don't get to have them, you don't get to have the nursery, you don't get to get the baby clothes, you don't get to get none of that yet. But it's okay. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel like sad. It's okay. It's totally normal, and it's totally okay to feel those things. There's nothing wrong with that. Take the time that you need. It's been about 3 years since I've had my miscarriage, and every day I think about all the things that I could have done differently in order for my child to have been here. But you know what? God had other plans, and I honestly thank God that I'm not with that person, and that I don't have a child with that person that would have to have sufficed through the things that towards the end of our relationship had to go through, because the person that he already had a baby with, she was going through a lot with him, and I was just on the outer corner just watching it all. I'm not that type of person that's like, oh, I hate your baby mother. No, like, I was always there for the girl. Like, she hated me. That's okay. Feelings were mutual, honey. But you know, it's okay. Just know that when these things happen, it's just a testimony. It's just a part of your journey, and don't ever let someone make you feel like you're not included in the party, because you are. And we're moms, and when I say big mama, that's what I mean. I have a very motherly figure. Like, I really do. Like, I love being mama bear. Like, I love taking care of people. I'm a natural nurturer. I have a really big heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, you know, I didn't just get that tattoo for nothing. Like, I really wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very vulnerable with people. I'm very open with people. I'm, you know, all these things. And it's okay to be who you are. And it's okay when things happen. And it's okay. I'm just here to tell you that it's okay. I'm not going to sit here on the camera and cry about it. Because I already did my crying. It made me stronger. I know some people, like, click on videos like, oh, is she going to cry? Like, no, girl, I'm not going to cry. Maybe not this video. Maybe the next one. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you can like, share, or subscribe. If you have been through something similar, drop it in the comments below, and just know that I'm here for you. If you ever want to talk or anything, just hit my DMs, wherever you want to hit my DMs at, girl, man, sir, Annie. Go ahead. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Shordie out.